Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your DevOps SRE DevSecOps coach. Okay, so what we are going to do? So yes, in order to address all the challenges what we discussed in the previous session and the pain areas and wasted, we need to come up with the DevOps. So again, it's like still we are not sure what is DevOps, right? So Ginny said, he's one of the scientists. Ginny said, IT is the factory floor of this century. IT. Now, if you say factory floor for the last century, what was that? So if I look at it, manufacturing, who owned it? Who was the winner in manufacturing? So if you look at the history, initially USA, uh, right? And then after that, probably maybe Germany. Probably after that, you can say Japan and now China. Now, let me put it in this way. They import the whole, I mean, China, in terms of China, they import the whole raw materials from Africa and Australia to China, which is, I think, 30,000 kilometers maybe. And they manufacture the goods and they ship it to the whole world again, back to the whole world, the the prepared goods. And still it is cheaper than the production, I mean, the product which has been manufactured in India and USA. How come? What they have done? So if you think like, okay, they have a cheaper labors, so I must remind you, uh, it's not the case, because China right now uh, is not having a very cheap labor, and that advantage has gone right now. I mean, it's been gone 10 years before, right? In fact, India is having cheaper labor compared to China, but still we are not able to, uh, do the manufacturing. You know, so China is doing the manufacturing almost 20% of the world's overall production, and India probably 1 or 2%, right? So still we are not able to match. So it's not about the cheap labor. So what Chinese government have done different than others, so they no one is able to compete with them. So what they have done is, like, in order to manufacture the good in terms of quality goods and cheaper, better, they have multiple departments like shipping departments, roadways department, railways department, policies department, labor department. So these are the teams, you can call it. These were the teams. Earlier they were work in isolated environments, so because of that, everything was taking time to manufacture, time to receive the goods, I mean raw materials, time to produce the goods, taxes, transportations, motions, waiting waste, so many things. They fixed it actually. If you remember the pain area which we discussed in the previous session, they fixed it. Waiting waste, they fixed it. And because of that, they're able to ship the whole world the cheaper product, and still and we are not able to compete, right? So something what Ginny is saying, we have to do something similar with IT also. So IT is the factory floor of this century, and if someone wants to win the this century industry, they have to automate it. And how do we automate it? If any organization who's not able to automate it, not integrate all the different departments, in case of departments we call it in manufacturing, but here in software we call it a team, right? Team, like a development team, testing team, operations team, you know. So all these people, if you're not able to bring together, you're not able to integrate, then your cost of the production will be so high, one day you cannot sustain in the market. So you have to automate it. So what is a DevOps then? So basically, if you understand all the challenges and pain area and what organization want, so basically DevOps is like a cultural change. Yes, you have to, there is a cultural changes, mindset change. Like, are we willing to work as a one team? Are we willing to, integrate? Are we willing to build a relationship? Are we able to understand each other? Can I understand? Are you understanding the challenges of the what testing team is facing, ops team is facing each other? Automation at the extreme state, monitoring and sharing. So this is the DevOps. So let's get started with this. So now next questions you may ask, okay, probably I understand the what organizations want. I understand what are the challenges they are facing and what they are trying to do that. So how can we transform into the DevOps? That is the important thing, right? So there are two elements we have. One is employees, another one is employer. So there are certain mindset and culture change you have to bring in terms of employees. So you have to empower each employees. So most of the work, instead of waiting, motion waste, if you remember last time we discussed waiting waste, slow IT, they can do themselves. For example, let's say I need we need to build the system, we need to enable the process in which, if let's say if I need 100 machines for creating a test environment, I should do it myself, and then environment should be deleted after the use or something like that. You have to create it. So misuse should not happen. At the same time, I should not wait for someone's approval to create environment and then do the testing or do the deployment as such. So empowerment, you have to empower your employees, right? So you have to bring that process, and also you have to bring a sense of accountability. If you remember that in fighting issues, we just simply blame anything goes wrong in the project, anything delay or quality got compromised or something like that, we simply blame others. But here we need to build a culture. Instead of having multiple teams, let's have a one mindset where we all feel accountable. No matter whether it's a problem with the dev, QA and operations, we all feel equally accountable, and uh, we should work as a team. That's called relationship, right? See, if something goes wrong in your family, you don't blame your individuals in your family member, right? You simply say it's a problem of us and we have to solve it together, right? So that is something which you have to bring in the same in the team as well. Accountability. Yes, I'm accountable, everyone is accountable for any issues which we are coming, and we all have to work together in order to solve the problem. You cannot say it's not my fault, it's others fault. You cannot say this is not a DevOps culture, it's not a DevOps mindset. And then same time, you need to bring you need to enable your team so they can work in a team. Now if you look at this image, I think if you're in India, at least you must be very familiar with this image, where we have a tortoise and rabbits. They fight with each other, and each of these folks has a special skills, and when they fight, these two folks reaches to the destination very late. But if you combine these at ability and properties of it, and they can be faster, and that is what we want in the software development. Let's say you are good in programming, you are good in testing, you are good in something, right? Let's empower each other and let's work together as a teamwork. And let's not do learning by any other means but you know sharing learnings by sharing. Now, in what context? So if let's put it in the contextual here. Let's say if I ask you, what is the one of the largest platform where we share the knowledge, and that's, you may say, internet. Probably if I point it out a little bit precise, maybe Google. So you can learn anything from the Google, right? You can ask anything, Google will give you the answer for it, right? Have you ever wondered, like, how come Google is able to give these answers? Google is able to give these answers only because someone has shared that knowledge on the internet through some certain pages, and Google is detecting those best answers and giving it to you. So you can learn the things faster. So now, if you remember that if you have some bugs, you don't even read the bugs. If you have some errors, you don't even read the errors. Simply copy the errors, put it in Google, you get it the solution immediately, a Stack Overflow, and then implement within 5 minutes. Your things is fixed. Remember that era without internet where you have errors and you have to fix it your own, and might take hours, right? Days probably. Now you're able to fix it in a few minutes. Why? Because someone has shared that knowledge, and that has attributed you to learn faster. The same thing we need to apply in the projects also. Where do we share? See, each one of you working on many different things, but are you sharing? That is important, right? Whatever you do, are you sharing or not? And where are you sharing? So probably if you go back to your project, you'll see there's one place where you can share your knowledge, which is called Confluence. And then Confluence, you all can share the knowledge and any information related to the project. You don't have to ask, don't have to wait, don't have to, you know, motion waste and then transportation waste. You can simply go and search in Confluence and probably you'll get it within a fastest. Don't need to send an email, don't have to have a meeting for it. But this will happen only if you share. So yes, learning by sharing. And at the same time, you have to build the trust. Nowadays we have a trust issues, like what about if you automate everything, I might lose my jobs. So we have to trust each other, like okay, because we are transforming a team from the multiple team to single team. So we may have a trust issue that we have to fill the gap. And then reinforcing the values of respect with each other, honesty, integrity, and ethics. So these are the changes, mindset and cultural changes you need to bring in the employees by the organization. But not only employee has to change, organization also has to change. Organizations has to have clear vision whether they want the DevOps or agile or waterfall model. Let's say organizations say I want waterfall model, so there should not be any discussions where you should try to implement the DevOps or Agile. Let's say organizations say I want Agile, so there should not be discussion on the DevOps, because DevOps require different teams to work as a one team. So if it's there's no clear vision, our organization have it, I think we are doing the wrong thing, right? I mean, we're spending the time on the wrong things. So you need to have organization need to have a clear vision whether they want waterfall model or agile model or DevOps model. What exactly they want? They need to have a clear vision. At the same time, they need to recognize the bottlenecks. Bottlenecks means they need to accept, yes, we have problems. We have this pain area, which I discussed earlier, which we have a wastage, right? They have to recognize, yes, we do have a problem, we do have a challenges, we do have a pain area. Then only we can have found out the solution. If you say no, we are the good, we are the best project, best estimation, we do that, best utilizations, we have all of our releases quality relieves, no problem, then let's start talk about improving the process, right? So first you have to recognize the bottlenecks. You organization need to identify there are certain problems which you want to fix it. And then if you really want to implement the DevOps, these three things you have to do that. One of the first important thing is reorg. Who can do it? Only organizations, not you. Reorg. We have a multiple teams, not anymore. You have a DevOps team. So I must tell you here, many organizations, they have a development team, QA team, ops team, then DevOps team, then SRE team. All teams they have set it up. So that is the basically failed implementation of DevOps, right? So DevOps is all about the one team, one goal, one process, one mindset, one culture. That is all about. So you have to reorganize, reorg, and then make it everyone. So if you say, I'll put it in this way. If you say I'm a dev team and someone is saying I'm QA team, so suddenly you become a wall. You created a wall, right? I'm from different team, you are from different team. I will work with my team, you work with your team. Sometime we'll collaborate once in needed. That is where the wall is getting created. What about if you say like no, and not anymore, you're not, there's no dev team, there is no QA team, there's no operations team. There is only one team right now, DevOps team. All of you have to work together as one team, bringing the accountability, understanding, relationship, and all stuff on automation. Immediately, DevOps can be implemented. Are you ready to do that? Only employer, organization can do that. The same time, sharing the resources. But before that, I would like to highlight what Adrian said. Adrian said DevOps is a reorg. That means if you want to implement a DevOps, just do the reorg. That's all. Everything will be done automatically. all the mindset issues, cultural issues, waste, painful areas, everything will get disappeared the moment you reorg. Suddenly you say you are a dev, QA, and ops. Next day, your organization saying, no, we are not a devs, you're not a ops, you're not a QA, you are a dev ops. You are a part of one team now. So that's what Adrian saying. DevOps is just a reorg, not a new team to hire. But same time, it's not about that only reorg. You have to share the resources. What I'm trying to say here is like I put it in this way. If you are a programmer, I mean, let me be clear. All of us has to write a code in today's era. And I said, right, writing a code for the product, writing a code for the testing a product, writing a code for the running the product for CI/CD and ops and all kind of things. So everywhere is you're writing a code. But are you sharing the work? Let's say I'm doing 80% of the work for the writing the feature of the product. Are we spending some, let's say, 20-30% time on the writing the test code as well? Let's say you are writing a test code. Are you writing the production code as well? Are you writing the operations code as well? So you are sharing the resources, and DevOps will enable the cross skill set. That means each one of you must be having, maybe one of you are doing the one thing more, but you have to do the second part of all also. Who can enable this one? Only organization. And the proper hands off. That means whatever we do, we have to inform that, okay, this is something which we are doing, we are done, and from so other people can take it up from there. But at the same time, not only uh, recognizing the bottlenecks, altering the team structure, but also you need to streamline all the process by doing the self assessment and eliminating the wastage which we discussed. And these are the wastage, if you remember, we discussed. So you need to do the proper self assessment. Who can do that? Only organization can do that. And then eliminating the wastage, which include the overproduction waste, useless processes, useless motion, defect, rework, scrap, overstocking, waiting, and transportations. So this is something, if you really want to implement the DevOps, these are the changes you need to bring in your project and organizations. Are you ready for that? But at the same time, we have some stereotype. And some of the stereotypes which we have is like, okay, what about security? If you merge multiple teams into one, security will be a concern. But again, as I said, in order to DevOps, in order to implement the DevOps, you have to implement CI/CD and everything automated way. So security check will be happening more often than earlier it used to happen once in a 6 month or 1 year. Many people say compliance will be a challenge. Again, as I said, DevOps itself will enable the automated compliance. Many people say, okay, DevOps, everyone has to work together as a team, one team, communications has to happen, integration has to happen, many things. Understanding need to be built, so but it cannot be implemented in the remote teams. Let me tell you here, we have a technology to fill the gap. Right now, I'm connecting with you some go-to meeting, or we can talk over the phone, we can talk video call, all this thing, and integration can happen. Many people fear like, okay, if you implement the DevOps, lots of jobs will be impacted. So they may not support in this initiative. But again, it's just as said, it's just not a irrational fear of DevOps eating your jobs. Many people say DevOps is good, but it's for the new product. Okay, let me highlight the objective of the DevOps. Reduce the cost, improve the quality, and immediate release. Maybe you don't want immediate release because you're not in web or something like that, but you don't want to reduce the cost for software development and running. You don't want the quality to be improved. So yes, DevOps is for you as well. Many people say we don't have a technology and skill set, so we cannot implement the DevOps. I just said DevOps is all about the cultural changes, mindset changes within a team and employer. It has nothing to do with the technology. Yes, the moment you start working on it, technology will become up your, you know, the asset, and you can use any technology. I mean, there's no as such, as I said, there's no as such called world called DevOps tool, because any tools which you can use efficiently for your objective, it'll become a DevOps tool. Simple. Okay, so that's something which you have to bring in. And at the end, if you want to implement the DevOps, automate everything. So once you are ready with the mindset changes, your organizations are ready to adopt these changes, as I highlighted some of these points here, then we can start talking about the automations. How can we implement that? Any questions, all of you? Any questions? Okay, so now it's all about the conceptual definition of DevOps. But when it comes to practical stuff, you would like to know how this can be implemented. So you may say, Rajesh, I want to know what precisely I have to do in order to implement the DevOps. So first thing, reorg. If you think without a reorg you can implement the DevOps, not possible. That is the best suggestion. I said many of the stuff. The step number one, identify the pain areas of organization. Step number two, identify the waste. Step number three, changes in the employee's mindset. Step number four, changes in the employer mindset. And then coming back to the automation part. And when you talk about automations, I think if you want to implement the DevOps, these are the things you have to do. So this, we call it a DevOps life cycle. Okay, so DevOps life cycle can be broadly broken down into below DevOps stages. So I'll put it in a very simple way. If you want to do the development DevOps, then you have to implement the continuous development. When we say continuous development, this is agile actually. Then you have to do continuous integration, continuous testing, continuous monitoring, and so on. So I think this is one of the best image which I got it on the internet, and this is something which we should, I think we should try to follow. If you ask me, Rajesh, how can I implement the DevOps? So the first thing I would say, hey, before DevOps, are you agile? If you are agile, then it will be easy. So here, coding cannot be automated. We know that AI is still in a baby state. So maybe next few years, coding also will be done by AIs. But for time being, we are doing the coding and then build, automated integrations. This is what you used to do that. And this we call it agile development, where development team is working. And when I say remember that development team means developers and testing team, right? Then if you have achieved the agile development, then you should focus on automated testing. Automated testing. CI means continuous integrations. CI means automated build, automated testing. That's what, and immediate feedback. So if you have achieved the agile development, you should try to set up a CI. Remember that CI allows you to fail. Your build may fail, test may fail, may pass. It allows you to fail. But if you have a successful CI, the point of reaching to that point is called continuous delivery. That means if you do started automated release, then you have a continuous delivery. That means once your CI is done, you should focus on the CD part. That means make sure your pipeline is always green, always success. How to do that? What to do to be done? That's the discussion point. And then once you have a successful delivery of the packages, then you should automatically deploy in the production. That is called continuous deployment. You should focus on it. And the overall process, which start from agile development to CI, CD, that is called DevOps. That is called DevOps. So if you ask me how to implement DevOps, I think you have an answer, right? Any questions? Let me try to read the chat. Yeah. So there's one question from Ariel. You mentioned step to implement and put culture changes mindset at third or fourth, but that could be the most complex step. could be the first. I mean, maybe steps are only figurative, but mindset is the largest step. Yes, agree with you. That should be the first one, but only if you understand the what problems you have. Let's say you are trying to change the mindset. That's okay. You are trying to change the culture. But the first thing, did you identify why you are trying to change? The pain area, what pain area you have? You need to figure it out, the pain. Are you having the pain? Are you having the wastage? That's what I said. So first we need to find out that are you really having the requirement for it? And then you can bring the changes. So that is what I feel, and then we can take it up accordingly. So yes, I think this is the good slides, good image actually, where we can understand what we should do that step by step in order to implement the DevOps practices and so on. I think this is just example flow. And why I said DevOps is not a tool concept is not, I mean, DevOps tool concept itself is wrong. Why I said that? Because if you look at this here, for different problems, we have a different tools, and it's not a important like which tool you are using. Let's say you have a tens of tools for source code commit, build tools, unit testing tools, packaging tool, deployment tool, testing tools. So many tools are there. The important thing is not which tools are you are using, but important things, if you look at this whole flow, this arrow is important, this green arrow, if you look at this, because it's not something we are doing new today, right? This whole things we've been doing from last 40 years, right? But what is important right now is like we have to integrate, and this arrow is showing you the identification for the integrations. So the moment your code is committed, automated build, automated unit testing, automated security, automated testing, automated packaging, automated deployment, everything should be automated. And end of it, you should get to know whether it's a good code or bad code. That's all. And then if it is a good code, deploy to the production. So this is something we have to enable it if you really want to implement the DevOps. Okay. So this is something which I wanted to tell you. Now, few things also I want to talk about it in terms of tools. I think I must tell you here we have so many tools. I just said like market is flooded with the tools. So I'm not going to talk about each and every tools, but some of the tools which I feel is important. But before that, I want to show you something which is different between CI and CD. So I want to show you quickly. I'm not able to locate. It's lots in some slides. So let me do one thing. Let me get it. Difference between continuous integration and deployment. So many people get confused. That's the reason I want to show you this image. And I think uh, I'm just trying to find out the good image. I think this is the good image. Oh, this quality is not good. This is good. This is good. Yeah. So I think this is the questions many times people ask. What is CI, CD, CD? I mean, integration, delivery, and deployments. So when I CI, that means automated build and automated integrations. Oh, sorry, automated testing and immediate feedback, whether it's a fast or failure, I don't care. That's called CI. But what is the difference between continuous delivery versus continuous deployment? And I think you have answer. I mean, good image, simple one. So if you see that, once the coding is done, automated, its a build is completed, unit test is completed, integration is completed, testing is completed, and then you have a package available to be delivered, then you can call it continuous delivery. And after that after that request and approval, you deploy to the production. That means if you have a package to be delivered but you have not delivered, that state, reaching to that state, we call it a continuous delivery. I'll put it in this way. Let's say my manager is saying, Rajesh, 10 o'clock we had a code commit, 11 o'clock, are you ready for deployment in the production? And if I say, yes, I'm ready, that means I have a package which is successful package, passed through all the build, integration and testing. So I'm saying yes. In that case, your project is at the continuous delivery state. But you know what? Extreme automation, what do you call it? You don't wait for someone to ask for deployment in the production. And that is where that the moment is passed in the acceptance tests, automatically deployed to the production without any manual work. And that is called continuous deployment. And this is, I must tell you here, this is the extreme state of the automation. And for achieving this, you have to have a hell lot of checklist at the unit test, integration, acceptance testings, and so on. And this is something I think you should remember. What is the difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment? Right? Any questions? Okay. So now guys, let's conclude the discussion. And before we move on to the little bit of Q&As and lab, DevOps is all about the cultural changes. It's all about the mindset change. And that will start within you. And I want to share that slides one more time because I feel that is most important for all of us, at least if not by others. And if you are ready, I mean, because most of us struggle to accept this fact, and the sooner you accept this fact, I think you'll be wise faster. And I think this is the one. Let's start accepting the fact, and you just try to find out what you are doing right now. Are you really worth of being a part of DevOps team? Are you doing the coding for the product? Are you doing the coding for the testing the product, or are you doing the coding for CI/CD infra or integration or operations or whatever it is? So you should start asking yourself, are you the worth of it? If not, I think we have many sessions, upcoming session, 15 sessions. I'm going to take it up, and which will help you, to build the skill sets which is required. Though it's a fundamental level, but still it will help you to become a person who can start coding and then start contributing. So, did you understand what is DevOps now? How to implement DevOps?
Have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest.
Thanks for watching.